Hey, good afternoon, team. Welcome to week 2 of OS 180 Principles of Supervision. So, lots of good discussion this week in the discussion boards. Really impressed. We're hitting this course off big. We're sharing some really good reflections. And I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the common themes that I've seen. You know, it's really difficult when you become a supervisor because you are no longer one of the boys. You are no longer one of the employees. You now represent the organization. And I think we kind of see some of the struggles in there, and we see some of the traits of bad supervision that didn't make that transition very well. They either thought they were still one of the employees, could joke around, and then when it came time to be an authoritarian or a leader, they couldn't do it, or they weren't happy. They thought maybe their supervision, they should have been higher than their supervisory role, or they did not have the responsibilities that they thought they were or that they should have had. And so, yeah, it's really difficult. And we have to remember when we become supervisors that we represent the organization. And this means, let's say it's a Christmas party and everybody's letting their hair down and having some fun, having a few drinks, and you see one of the employees having a little bit too much drink. What do? If you're a supervisor, you're still a supervisor, even though you are not on the clock. You are representing that organization. So do you go in and say, hey, wait a minute, I think you've had a little bit too much, and hopefully stop a DUI incident or worse? It is our responsibility as leaders and as supervisors, no matter what, to do what we can to represent the organization. And that's difficult, you know? Let me take a sip here. Thank you. So that is a common theme. And remember that we learn as much from our bad leaders and our bad experiences as we do from our good ones. It's really difficult sometimes to say, hey, what are the traits of a good leader? But we can definitely tell you the traits of a bad leader, and we see that, in supervision too. We're going to be talking more about power bases. And what this means is that we have different forms of power that we inflict. And you don't have to be in a leadership or a supervisory role to have these types of power. So, for instance, you could have legitimate power, which means I am in charge, I am the supervisor. You should have to follow what I say. That's legitimate power. You could have expert power. So let's say you are the best person, I don't know, I'm going to make this up, in customer service, working the cashier. You know how to do it better than anybody else. That's called expert power. People are going to come to you. They may be senior, they may be subordinate to you. They're going to come to you because you have that type of power. There's reference power, which means you refer people. You have a network of people. So you're like the glue in between this network. So people come to you and to say, hey, can you get this done for me? That's reference power, or you may have the air of a supervisor, so people may come to you and say, hey, I would really like to get accepted for this training, but I'm not sure how to approach asking for it. That's referent power. There's reward and power. So sometimes people, and it may not be the supervisor, have the authority to approve vacation, approve leave, give rewards or awards, give punishment. We've all worked like for one of those jobs, like a fast food chain or something, and there's always the person that writes the schedule, right? Sometimes you get the hours you want, sometimes you don't. That is a perfect example of reward power. May not have been the supervisor writing that schedule, but somebody was, and that they held that power pretty close. So those are some type of power bases, and we talked about that in our discussion boards because some of us voiced concern with supervisors that didn't have specific powers, like they didn't have power to approve vacation and leave, or they didn't have power over the budget. That was with somebody else, and the supervisor was frustrated with that. So were the employees, because it makes your supervisor look weak. But just like employees, right? Employees have specific tasks they do. Supervisors have specific tasks they do. And I talked a little bit about this in the discussion board, and I think I replied talking about ADCON and OPCON. This is what we call it in the military, and it's also the same in the civilian world. Some supervisors have administrative control. They control all the paperwork, all the budget. That's their job. Some supervisors have control of all the operations. They are the supply chain managers. They are on the floor making sure everything goes well. That's their job. That's called OPCON, and another one has ADCON. You may have PAYCOM, if somebody that controls the budget and all of the money coming in and out. So yeah, there's different roles for supervisors, just like there are for employees. So, anyways, off to a good start. I'm really impressed with the discussion boards. Really having a good time with them. Uh, Let me say, first census day is Monday. That's the soft census day. So, if you have not contributed to the discussion board or submitted the assignment for week 1, I have to mark you absent. You're going to get a call from the college to say, "Hey, what's up?" Like I said, I do not accept late discussion boards. So even though you got that call from the college, don't think you're going to go back into week 1 and start submitting, because it's not fair to your classmates, right? Uh, but anyways, yeah, pick it up. Keep going with the course. Uh, Going good so far. So as always, if you have any questions, please ask. And I'll leave my other video from the last time I taught this class up too. So if you wanted to see what they were doing. Okay, later. Bye. Dave out.